not only did you move to a foreign country,
Yep.
learn CrossFit in a foreign country, learn how to coach CrossFit in a foreign
Yep.
country, go home to a place where CrossFit didn't exist and fitness wasn't part of the culture,
Yep.
open 7 gyms with over 1,000 members in 4 years, but you did most of it from Australia.
Yes, exactly.
Hey there, guys, and welcome to this episode of VIVE Group Podcast with myself, Ty Arnett, CEO and head shit talker of VIVE Group. And today I'm so excited, guys, to introduce you to a very, very good friend of mine with a crazy story to tell, Mr. Cory Takahara, owner of A+ Fitness in Japan and someone I've known for a very long time. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, thank you. How about you?
I'm so good, man. I'm so excited we get to finally sit down because I think your CrossFit story is super exciting and
Thank you very
super
much.
interesting. And I think a lot of people around the world think that, everybody's CrossFit story roughly looks kind of the same, and yours definitely doesn't.
Yep, I think so, yeah.
So why don't you let's jump straight into it and tell me, how did you find CrossFit? What was your journey?
Yep, my journey, where can I start? I had a big journey when I was 33. And I moved into Gold Coast, Australia here, and I was a student to study exercise science to be a physio here because I was physio in Japan. And at that time, I was a student and I was lucky enough to join soccer club, which is Gold Coast United, A-League. Then I worked for the assistant for the physio, but I just found your CrossFit on the street.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what is a CrossFit. And I checked my website, your website, and I didn't still get what is a CrossFit. And I jumped in the CrossFit Journal and I read it. Wow, it's a method of the training. And I did training before, but I haven't done any, that kind of training, high intensity and, very big guys exercise. So I just jumped in. I think I was 40, 41, yeah.
Awesome. And that was, what was that? That was 2010?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
A long time ago.
Yeah.
So this was one of our first CrossFit gyms, CrossFit Aon, here on the Gold Coast.
Yep.
And talk to me about kind of going from, because you had a lot of experience in, sports training and even training other people and stuff, right? What was your initial reaction to CrossFit, to the training?
Yeah, actually, the day of the fast, that's the Onramp, right? And it was easy, squat, sitting, push-up, I can do that. But next day, I did a lot, right? And the muscle soreness is a lot. But I expected that. But next day, getting the movement is difficult and hard.
Yeah.
But still, I could. The first day, I was joining the CrossFit with other guys. Wow. What they did is deadlift and toes to bars. What I do? And deadlift, of course, I'm small and skinny. I'm using maybe less than ladies RX. Then toes to bar. I just did knee raise.
Yeah.
Couldn't get toes. Yeah. So it was like a circus.
Yeah.
I surprised. But I enjoyed because I found, training with other guys, that is a good moment. Yeah, that is a new stuff to me.
Especially, being relatively new to Australia, new to a new country.
Yeah.
And something I'm still to this day I'm really proud of was the community that we had there.
Yeah, I think so.
Very, very cool. Very, relatively early days of CrossFit.
Yep.
Definitely pre, games hype and regionals hype when everyone was just training to get better at life.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone was training Monday through Friday so that they could do something on Saturday.
Exactly. So I'm still believing that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And so then you fell pretty hard in love with CrossFit. You were there every day, pretty much. And then eventually...
I'm coming the gym more than coaches.
Absolutely. Yeah, you were, for sure. And eventually you decided that you wanted to become a coach, which was an awesome decision in hindsight because here you are in a relatively new country with a relatively new language. Your English is great now, but back then it was nowhere near this good.
Yeah, it was hard,
And so you decided, even with that barrier, to still jump on and do our coach development program and become a coach professionally.
Yeah.
Talk to me through that because you have a very different experience through the coach development program because, a lot of people who go through the coach development program are, 20-something years old
Yep.
and, you know, don't have a professional background in
Yep.
physiotherapy and sports training.
Yeah.
So what was that process like for you, the coach development?
At that time, I was 40 plus, and at the beginning, I just communicate with them as a physio. Them means members, your members, yeah. Because I can do acupuncture or care or massage. Then that's the start to joining a member of community, and after that, they asked me some kind of rehabilitation and mobilities. So I just I didn't coach, but I just teach them how to do that. Yeah. And after that, you asked me as a coach of mobility class or just beginning of the class for their mobility. That is the start. I started kind of coaching, but after that, I realized coaching is hard in a different language. Yeah. So mobility is easy. Just show them how to do that. But once it gets coaching, especially snatch, deadlift and clean, that kind of stuff, that's it hard. So I just realized I have to listen how you guys coach to coach. Yep. So that is the point I get over. Yep. Yeah. Yep. But that journey was fun. Yeah. And, at the time, I just forgot my age, my background. Yep. I just love to CrossFit as a coach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. Yeah. And, we were talking about it just before, and anyone who's been to our seminars has probably heard me talk about Cory's story when we talk about the CDP. But because of the language gap, you became, already were, I think, incredibly good at nonverbal communication. Because you had to be. That was your biggest toolkit.
Yeah.
And the flip side of that was all of us. I'd been coaching strength and conditioning then for the better part of 10 years, I think, already. And all of a sudden, I was learning a ton from you just purely through, your coaching methods where I would rely on, just verbiage to get by. All of a sudden, you were coming up with some very creative ways to get your message across. And that was a beautiful thing. It was so cool to watch you develop, man. So you coached and then eventually decided to open your own gym.
Yep.
Tell me all about that. That's exciting.
Yeah, actually, after I graduated my uni here, then I was going to join master, and I joined it to be a physio here. But in a family decision, we decided to go back to Japan for my kid and me. Then, if in that time, I just thought if I have time to living in Japan year or two, maybe I can open a CrossFit gym in my town. Yeah. So I go there and borrow the money and find a place and open it. But before open it, I didn't know what is a CrossFit in Japan, because in Japan at the time only 6 gyms, Okinawa, and no Japanese people open it. Yeah. Just one in Ise, that's it. I don't know about it. So I opened it up in the very center of the city of Osaka. Then when I open it, the first problem is no one knows what is a CrossFit.
Right.
Yeah. And I didn't know how to let them know. Yeah. Just using website and Facebook, those kind of stuff. Yeah. Then because of my friend, that is my city, my friend, they come to my gym and start training, and their friend, and their friend, and their friend. That is the start. Yep. Yeah. But that gym was, very funny gym. I open up from the morning to the night. Yep. Every hour. Mm-hmm. No classes. So I accept all the, Onramp class anytime they want. Yep. And because I didn't know, because of here, people training 5:30 in the morning, right? Yep. In Japan, no one wake up 5:30.
Right.
But they train at night, 9 o'clock. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but 9 o'clock here, no.
Dead.
Yeah. So I just start from the morning to the night. Then I realized, wow, that's different. And another one is that people knowledge to the fitness is totally different.
Right.
Yeah, that is the point I realized. Then that point was the most important stuff to my business. Yeah. then it's still so.
Yeah.
Yeah. And people here, they know what is the benefit of the fitness.
Right.
And maybe they know what is the CrossFit. But in Japan, people, they don't know about the fitness, not like people here. So I try to what is a fitness. I try to teach what is a fitness every class. That is the first moment for the 6 months. Yeah.
Beautiful. And now this is where the story takes a bit of a turn, because a lot of people who are listening now probably think, wow, you went back to Japan where CrossFit was almost non-existent.
Yeah.
Every box owner, except for one, was not Japanese, was not native.
Yep.
This surely couldn't have worked out that great.
Yep.
So how many gyms do you have now?
Now, in total 7.
7 gyms all over Japan, right?
Yep.
And your most recent gym opened last year? At the end of last year, so 6 months maybe.
Yeah, less than 6
Less than 6 months. And how many members does that gym have?
178.
178 members, right? That's his newest of 7 gyms, right? Now, and the reason I want to make that point is because a lot of people say, I live in a country town in the middle of, USA or Germany or something. Not many people know about CrossFit. Well, don't worry about CrossFit. Not many people knew about fitness in your town, right? So you had a lot more to overcome in terms of educating, and that's the important thing is a lot of box owners just expect people to know or expect them to work it out.
Yep.
What you've done is you've educated. You treat every class like a class.
Yep.
There's an education portion, right? Instead of just being a coach who stands up and says, this is what's on the whiteboard, you're actually educating people. And
not just workout.
Absolutely. How many people roughly do you think you have between all of the gyms? Do you know roughly how many?
More than 1,000.
More than 1,000. And how many years? This hasn't been that long.
The oldest one is almost 4 years.
4 years. That's insane, man. So again, for those of you listening or watching who have all the excuses in the world about how people don't know what CrossFit is, people are scared of fitness. Cory's market didn't even know what bloody fitness was.
Yes, exactly.
And over 1,000 members in 4 years. And I know that you're not getting aggressive and doing like some of the dodgy marketing campaigns, trying to sneak people in. You're getting these people legitimately through referrals, right?
Yeah, exactly. Only that one.
Just referrals.
Yep. I haven't used any advertisement with money.
Beautiful.
Zero.
Not a thing.
Yeah, not a thing.
Wow. Anyone would think that referrals was powerful, I guess.
That's the most powerful stuff.
Absolutely.
So we have to educate the members as a advertisement.
Yes. Because your members are your salespeople in the referral world, right? But if your salespeople don't understand the process or understand the product, they can't sell it.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to educate them. I think we talked about this last week or 2 weeks ago in 5 Question Friday, that if I meet one of your members at a barbecue and say, oh, wow, CrossFit Hamachi, A+ Fitness, what's that?
Yep.
They should be able to tell me what it is, how I get started, where to go.
Yep.
And if they can't, then how can I expect them to refer?
Exactly.
It's
so,
insane.
for example, CrossFit members with us in Osaka, if I said RX, they understand RX, what is RX, but they don't know prescribed.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So we need to teach them. Yeah. And also, they don't know, of course, snatch, hang snatch, what's the difference? Yep. The position.
Yeah.
So we teach them what's the movement and also fitness as well. If my a member said my muscle soreness is getting better, yes, it's getting better. That means they don't know. That means your fitness is going to increase. Yeah. That means your health is going to increase as well. Yeah. That is a result.
Love it. So let's talk about movements. Yeah. Let's talk about the culture because so why? I think the interesting question is, why have you gotten to a point where you've got 7 gyms, over 1,000 members in 4 years, in a country that not only doesn't know CrossFit, but doesn't really know fitness that well, and no one else has, right? You've had a very unique level of success, even within Japan, right? So we can't say we can't say that Japan is this magical place where you can be successful because from what I understand, correct me if I'm wrong, you're pretty much the only one who's had that success. No one else has that many members, right? So when we've talked about this a lot, the majority of other gyms in Japan, CrossFit boxes, are not, or at least were not in the beginning, run by Japanese people. Right? They were run by Americans and Australians who brought a very westernized version and a very westernized culture. And it would talk to me about that. Does it work? Why doesn't it work? And what is different culturally? What's different about how you approach the methodology?
For example, if I bring the CrossFit I did here, that is good because, people can feel maybe overseas culture or that kind of stuff. But the majority of people in Japan is Japanese and are easy to touch to the Japanese rather than Australian style. So I just modified it. The first one is like a people. In general, Japanese people are a little bit shy. They are not going to take their shirts off at the beginning of the workout. And they don't talk a lot. They don't. And they are a little bit modest. So that class is always calm, especially in the morning. Like a sightseeing. But CrossFit is not like that. And they need adrenaline after 10 minutes. So we have to do something. So what I did is ice-breaking time at the beginning of the 4 minutes. They need to talk and say something. So introduce each other, start with. Then after that, we want to make a community. So at the beginning of the 4 minutes, we have sometimes, giving them some kind of question. For example, what is your favorite restaurant that you did? You went in the last 3 months. Those kind of stuff.
Lovely.
Yes, and they start talking, and the class becoming like a good mood, and go to the workout. So if you did that kind of stuff every class, they can know each other a little bit more than the calm class. Then community is developing. Now it's CrossFit.
And I can imagine because that's so, you've had to mold the existing culture a little bit, but now I imagine that's such a unique thing that they belong to this community that's so strong that your retention based on community would be even stronger than most other boxes. We all rely pretty heavily on our community for our retention. But in a space where, I couldn't imagine in a normal Japanese Globo gym, people going up and talking about their favorite restaurant. You've created something that's not just cool, but genuinely unique. That's amazing.
We need it.
And what about, there's huge differences in the movements or the approach
Fitness
to movements.
Actually, maybe 90% of people in my member, they haven't touched the barbell before.
Wow, that's amazing.
It's amazing, right?
And they're still getting fit. They're still getting strong. They're still happy. Amazing. So to everybody who thinks that you people get upset at me because our Onramp doesn't include the snatch and the clean and jerk. Who cares? You can get fit without them.
Exactly.
If a lot of people, I think, as trainers, they fall back on certain pieces of equipment to make up for the lack of creativity. To be honest, if you can't get someone incredibly fit with 2 dumbbells or a kettlebell, you're not a great trainer. But culturally, like what would happen if I turned up and tried to teach a 1RM deadlift?
Wow. Wow.
It'd be horrible for them, right?
Scary.
Scary, exactly, right? And it's not what they need.
It's not first priority.
No.
Maybe 10% they can enjoy, 90% not.
Right. So just so that people can understand culturally the implications of that, why we wouldn't go, functional hypertrophy or 1RMs or something. To a lot of guys in the West, we just want to be big. We want to get bigger and bigger and bigger. That's not really the goal for most Japanese guys, right?
Not yet.
And for Japanese girls,
Not yet.
That would be
maybe not never come.
right. That would be, a pretty drastic thing for them. Right?
Yeah, so far, yeah. But some of them, yeah, they loved, muscular body, but that beauty is not like beauty here. Yeah.
Right. And the important thing is, and this is a lot easier to do because you're a native from Japan, obviously, but is you respected that.
Yes.
You didn't come in and go, no, that's not CrossFit. And that's the problem I see a lot. Even in westernized countries, I see, I was in Germany recently and there were even some trainers there who were Germans, but they were trying to bring a very Americanized culture to their gym. And look, in some places that works. In the Philippines, they quite like American culture. And so bringing the American side of things works really well. But you've got to have empathy to your membership. And for most of us, that's kind of just as easy as understanding that, this mum has different goals than this young guy. But when you're in countries kind of outside that core westernized culture, you've got to think, because I know we've got a lot of people now in Europe, in Scandinavia, in particular, where, there's some significant cultural differences. I know we've got a lot of people in both South Africa and kind of continental Africa now. So I think the biggest lesson takeaway from this is just to respect people and their culture, and also to be flexible with what CrossFit is.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't have to be exactly.
American style, exactly. Yeah. So we have to. I had to modify it. Yeah.
So talk to me about some of the other cultural kind of differences.
Yeah. So their fitness is different, and another stuff is like maybe public rule, or because it's in Japan. Tattoos. yeah. Tattoos is like a symbol of CrossFit. Taking shots and muscle body.
Big sleeves.
Yeah, cool. That's cool. But
pukey tattoo on the chest.
But this is only in Japan. Still, old policy. If you have a tattoo, you can't go public place, maybe public bus. Even you can go, you can't take it off. So because of all the Yakuza stuff or mafia stuff.
Right. So the tattoos in general, on public display at least, are linked to Yakuza and mafia and stuff like that.
But these days, younger people, they have fashion tattoo. That will be okay. But my gym, all over it, we have a policy of the free tattoo. So because it's public place. And some of people, they may feel a little bit scary. So that's why we did.
Absolutely.
And we do,
And so important thing for people traveling to Japan, and especially if you're going to a box in I was blown away by Osaka, how different it is to Tokyo, how much traditional it is, and how very, I could walk around the whole day and not meet a single person who spoke English. It was wonderful. I felt really foreign, in a great way. But at the same time, you're a guest. You've got to respect those things. So, shout out to anyone going to a Japanese CrossFit box. Maybe don't rip your T-shirt off. Maybe don't slam your empty barbell and show off your tattoos.
And another one is clean up. Maybe if I go CrossFit gym around the world, there's a lot of chalk on the barbell and DNS. And that's cool. Cool. Like it's kind of like old stuff. And but in my gym, always we need to clean up.
Spotless.
Spotless. And so if you're training and at the last of the 5 minutes, giving you a towel to clean up and spray, that is a little as well. And also like no towel, no training policy. So need to water and towel. That's it.
Beautiful. That was two things that really stood out when I came to the gym in Osaka, and I'm definitely due to come back. But it was the cleanliness and the order. There was definitely a calmness. But it was everyone did what they were told, and even a lot of the time didn't really seem to need to be told. They've been to enough classes, they know how it runs. They just go with the flow. It seems like everyone was very coachable.
Exactly.
And we've all had, especially in the West, we've all had those members that, they turn up and you think, oh, shit. And usually it's because they're not coachable. It's because they don't listen or they want to do their own thing.
Sometimes that happens.
And I just didn't really get that vibe over there. Everyone
they're very good listener.
Played the game. They followed the rules.
Yeah.
I love it, man. So you've opened all of these gyms. Now, this is where it gets even more, your story gets kind of even crazier. All right, so this is where the story gets even more interesting in terms of your journey, right? Because not only did you move to a foreign country, learn CrossFit in a foreign country, learn how to coach CrossFit in a foreign country, go home to a place where CrossFit didn't exist and fitness wasn't part of the culture, open 7 gyms with over 1,000 members in 4 years, but you did most of it from Australia.
Yes, exactly.
So talk me through that. So you moved back home, took the family back, and then at some point came back to Australia. Talk to me about that.
Actually, as I said, I, went back to Japan with my kids, and kids loved Japan, but they wanted to back to Gold Coast here. So that means I have to go with them. So that means I have only time 1 or 2 years. So in the one or 2 years, I have to develop my business. And otherwise, I have to stay in Japan, and the kids will as well. So that is another journey. So that means I had like a high hurdle I have to jump over. So when I start CrossFit gym, I hired 2 coaches at the beginning. That is a big invest. Even I don't know, my business is going too well and how many members I can get. So I did it because without them, I can't leave Japan. So I trained them, and they developed very well. But after a year, one of the coach gone, so one left. And after that, I hired 4 coaches. Then I coached them, and I trained them, and they did very well. Because of CDP, when I opened my gym, I started making my own CDP program because you gave me, and I adjusted it to in Japan. So that program works very well. So they develop well and easy to get good coach, standard coach. Then after that, I have another problem, financial. Even my gym is good and the member is going up, I need more money to get money. So that means I have to open up another gyms and another gyms. Because I had the idea and that the first gym is going right track that I expected. So I asked some of the investor to invest me, and they did. So I opened another 2. Then it goes well. Then I decided to move in Australia again from Japan. So after that, I have to communicate with them on Skype. And also what I had to get is system. Because without me, my guys need to track the system and right timing, on time, and with the right way. So I learned about the system from you. So I just use it and just did it. And they did well. Then after that, I opened another 2, then another 2.
Why not? And all again from Australia.
Yes, exactly.
How often do you go back to Japan now?
3 times or 4 times per year.
Okay, wow.
Just 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
So you're managing. How many staff have you got now across all of the gyms?
37 something.
37, right?
In my company.
So you've got 7 gyms, 37 staff, over 1,000 members, and you've got to manage them all most of the time from Australia. And so what are the big lessons? Because I don't think that managing people remotely is any different. The requirements aren't any different to managing them one-on-one. You just have to be better at it. If you're managing people one-on-one, there's a buffer of mistakes you can make. Whereas when you're not there, there's just no buffer. You've got to do it. You've got to be a good leader. So what are the biggest things that you've learned from, managing that many people from across the other side of the world?
I think it's just not system. the most important is like a relationship with my staff.
Yep.
And most of my staff is 20s,
Right.
young guys, young ladies. But I need to communicate with them very much.
Yep.
So even it's Skype, we have to talk a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not just relationship with the business or not that kind of stuff. I have to be a master for their life.
Right.
That is the most important point.
You've got to be a leader.
Yes, exactly. Big leader.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the staff need to be a leader for their young staff. So I have to pass them what they do, what they have to. Then next generation and next generation.
Yep.
So that's the point why I could live here
Yep.
with my business in Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's something that a lot of people miss. No one's surprised by the idea that you need to be a good leader.
Yeah.
It's not as easy as people think.
Yep.
And a lot of people think they're good leaders when actually they're just irritable bosses. And I've definitely been that before. But one thing that a lot of people miss is, okay, cool, you're a good leader. Now your job is to create good leaders. Yeah. You have to empower people. Yeah. And even if you're at your gym, even if you own one gym and you've got 100 members and you're there 5 days, 6 days a week,
Yep.
your team still needs a leader. But if you want any semblance of freedom, and how much more freedom can you have than living on the beautiful Gold Coast, getting to surf, getting to hang out with your kids? That's amazing, right?
Yep.
If you want any real freedom, you've got to be able to develop leaders.
Yep.
You've got to empower people. You can't be, I think a lot of people get attached to the little drip of ego that you get by being the man. Everyone wants me to coach them. Everyone, if you do that, you end up getting trapped in your own box.
Yeah, exactly. Because
you're
a superstar.
Yeah, you're a superstar, but you're a superstar just in your box every week, never on holidays.
Yeah. Can't believe it.
You've got to empower. You've got to empower your team. You've got to create leaders within your team, especially when your team grows that big. You can't manage 37 people.
Yep.
You need to manage 7.
Yep.
And then have them be leaders to everyone else.
Yep.
It's a big deal, man. It's a really big deal.
Yep. So I have to trust them.
Absolutely.
Yep.
That's the other
100%
thing.
trust.
And I think people take trust as blind trust. They confuse trust with blind trust. You don't trust them because they're my friend and I trust them. You trust them because you picked the right people, you wrote the right systems, you train them on those systems, you retrain them 100 times when they messed it up.
Yeah, always. Always.
So I think part of it is trust them and trust the systems, trust the training, trust
systems.
The right people in the wrong framework will always mess up eventually, right?
Exactly.
No matter how great they are.
Yep.
You've got to give the right people the right framework.
Yeah, exactly. So trust and maybe creating a culture within the company. Yeah.
You've got to give people something to believe in.
Yep.
You know
Very
what
much.
I mean?
Yep.
Like look at sports teams. People travel all around the world to follow sports teams. They get tattoos. They paint their faces. They scream at the TV. And this is an important point that we made a little while ago about how important culture is versus people. If you follow a sports team and your favorite player leaves that sports team, you don't change sports teams because you believe in the culture. Even if that whole team left, the manager and the player, everybody, you would still follow that team because it means something to you. You know? You've got to make your gym that. It has to mean something. So whether it's a case of what if I leave and I want to go on holiday or move halfway around the world, doesn't matter. What if one of my coaches leaves and opens her own box? Well, it doesn't matter. What if one of my key members who's kind of a leader of their own little group leaves? It doesn't matter because people believe in something so much bigger than any one person. And that's really easy to say and really hard to do.
But we have to do that. I had to. Oh, yes.
You have to, for sure, man. So, all right. So it's been 4 years.
4 years.
Living back and forth, 7 gyms, 1,000 members, 37 staff. What's next?
What's next is another story. What's next is I love here, Gold Coast, and I have a friend here, and I love people here. So I'm trying to get a visa
Yes.
here and open my gym here.
Beautiful.
Yep.
Australian box owners, watch out. He's already dominated the Japanese market. He's coming for you next.
Yeah.
Beautiful, man. And so what about Japan? Are you happy where things are there? Are you
Yes.
going to expand? I think we haven't talked about, by the way, that CrossFit boxes aren't your only businesses.
Yep.
You've got
I have a physio
a
as well.
physiotherapy,
Yep.
and not a small physiotherapy office. I've been in it. It's 4 stories.
3 stories.
It's a big building.
Yep.
It's impressive. So yeah, settle down in Australia, settle down on the beautiful Gold Coast. Why wouldn't you? It's
Why not?
amazing. And start opening boxes here. Well, man, I can't wait. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see it kick off in Australia. I can't wait to come back to Japan and hang out again.
Yep.
It's gonna be so much fun.
Time come to Japan.
We need more boxers in Japan so that I can do seminars over there regularly.
Yep. In the future.
It's completely selfish, but that's what I want to do.
Yeah. It will be.
I love it, man. Awesome. Corey, thank you so much, buddy.
Thank you so much.
If people, I'm sure somebody's watching here. I know we got a lot of people from Asia. We got a lot of people in the Philippines, Malaysia, Korea that watch. If they want to reach out and get in touch with you, where can they find you?
Facebook.
Messenger.
Messenger.
Corey Takahara. You'll see it in the name of this show. Get in touch. Friendliest guy I know, buddy. It's been an amazing 9 years, nearly 10 years.
Yeah.
Watching this journey. I'm so happy for you, man.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank you so much, and thank you.
Awesome, guys. There you go. Incredible story. Again, remember CrossFit it's bigger than just your gym. Even if you're not a CrossFit gym, whatever it is that you do, there are so many lessons to take away from this podcast, guys, whether it's empathy or the lessons in leadership or just the balls that this guy has to travel to a new country, become a coach, and then travel back to home country and open a business that you may as well have opened a boomerang store. Yeah. You know, people would have probably known boomerangs better than they bloody knew CrossFit. So very, very inspiring story, guys. Thank you so much. Let me know, who would you like to see on one of these shows? We can do a call in or we can have them in studio. But besides that, guys, have an awesome rest of the week. Go out and earn it. And I'll see you in the next episode of the VIVE Group podcast. Thanks, guys.